I was too busy during the day to do laundry. That's what I told myself, but mainly I wanted some time to myself out of the week to just, be alone and unwind with my thoughts. The laundry room in the basement was always close to empty for the most part of fellow college goers in the early hours of the morning, so I always found myself there, squatting next to the spin cycle of my thoughts in the washer. Most of the time I just pondered randomly and let my mind do its own white noise thing for a while. I must have been there on a Friday night, Saturday morning, and it was completely empty. It was early in the morning, 2 or 3, I think, when my laundry finished the dry cycle, and I pulled my clothes out, ready to collapse in bed in my apartment on the 15th floor of the building. I made my way over to the only elevator that came down into the basement in the center section. While waiting for the doors to open, I read the notice board and the posters that advertised what to do for the next month. Looking at the clock behind me, I noticed it was really late, exactly 3 a.m. I noticed, amused, I really shouldn't do this to my sleep schedule. I almost didn't hear the elevator doors open behind me, and if it weren't for that voice, I would have stepped in. That moment of hesitation probably, in retrospect, had saved me from an unknown fate. You know how elevators sometimes have a voice in their speakers to announce the floor and the direction it was headed? For example, if it were in the third floor on its way down, it would say something like, "Third floor going down." This voice came out almost comically, many octaves lower and much slower than usual. "Basement going down." I felt a wave of uneasiness wash over me. There was never, for as long as I've lived in the building, floors lower than the basement. I had never seen a button lower than B for basement in the elevator. I felt at that moment an extreme fear root my feet into place as I stood in front of the parted doors. The elevator doors usually shut after a few seconds, but this time they remained open for almost a complete minute, as if waiting for me to get in. When they finally closed, I had the impression it had given up for the time being. While not wanting to take the strange elevator, I also was really against the idea of climbing 15 flights of stairs with my laundry until this hour. I decided to wait for the elevator to come back. It might have been a faulty speaker, I rationalized. It was an old building. I suspected that maintenance hadn't caught on yet because nobody, had really noticed it at this hour. Surprised, I heard the sound of the elevator continuing down below the floor of the basement for an unknown number of floors before I heard the faint but unmistakable ding that signified the opening of the doors. So there were floors beneath the basement. How deep did the building go? I remember how deep the dinging sound came from underground and the muffled shuffle of what sounded like multiple people into the elevator, and suddenly felt like it wasn't the best idea to stay here waiting for the doors to open. I looked at the highlighted up button. It hadn't been my brightest idea to press it. I only wanted to go upstairs faster, but now I was scared of seeing the occupants of the elevator from its trip underground. I basically guaranteed that the elevator would open in the basement on its way up. As soon as I came to that conclusion, I heard the elevator murmur on its way up, and I sprinted up for the stairs that took me into the lobby. Halfway up the stairs, I heard the ding of the doors opening on the basement floor, but I didn't dare look back. I reached the main lobby and breathed relief. It was silent, but it was calm and well lit, and I suddenly felt a bit silly for overreacting. I looked down at the dark stairwell to the basement, aware that I never heard the elevator doors close. It had always been pitch dark in the basement.